Welcome back. It's Freaky Friday, and we have FCAT writing next week, and my sophomores are preparing, and we are looking tonight at this wonderful writing rubric that I took from readwritethink.org. Very wonderful site, whether you're a student, a parent, or a teacher, there's something there for you. Research-based, evidence-based, highly effective reading and writing strategies. So, we have the 6 traits writing rubric. The 6 traits are content and ideas, organization, vocabulary and word choice, voice, sentence fluency, and conventions. And we have 1 does not meet those criteria, 2 partially meets, 3 does not fully meet, 4 means you meet the standards, but 5 means you more than meet it, and 6 means you just exceed it. And we're going to take a look at what did I do with it? A bunch of different papers look like. So we're going to start out with the lowest score anyone got from me, or Mr. McGuire, who was the other scorer, was a 3. And so let's take a look at what a 3 looks like. Okay, and I cleared out the names. Hopefully you can't see that. So this was a 3 across the board in all areas of the rubric, and let's take a look at it really quickly. Have you ever wondered what it is like to be a famous teenager? That should be a question mark. I have, and can only imagine the things I could buy, the friends I would have, not to mention the places I would get to see and experience. Although some are negative factors to being famous, for example, you will have much privacy, and I think the student will not, and you also won't be able to live a normal life. So right away in the first paragraph, I have to say, let me get my notes, pick a side. You have to choose one or the other. Don't say you're for it and then immediately give the refutation. Yes, the refutation is the statement of the obvious, the opposite. Like, yeah, there are some negative things to being famous, like your lack of privacy. But here are some great things. Refutations are a must. I wouldn't put them in the first paragraph. Your first paragraph is your hook. Get them interested. Make them want to read more. Put some passion and personality into it. And put a thesis statement in there. Wouldn't be a bad idea. So my feedback for this student, hold on. Oh, it's on the next page. Room for improvement in organization was my biggest thing, because we have no thesis, so the ideas are going to be scattered all over the place. Watch. Let's jump right in. When it comes to money, these days, most people don't have very much of it. When you're famous, you have a massive amount of money. We've got some grammatical errors in there. When you are famous, and let me just tell you something about Y-O-U''RE and Y-O-U-R. This one is showing possession. It's yours. And this one is a subject, you, and a verb, are. Totally different. You are beautiful. You are amazing. Not you're beautiful. You're beautiful what? Your beautiful hair? Okay, so most adults make your mistake, but it is a glaring mistake to the eye when you know what the right way is. So that's something this student needs to work on. But I do like the voice here. I love the let's jump right in. We've got some good details here, not great word choice. Most people, when they get money, they blow it on a big house and new cars. If they were smart, they would buy a new house and a new car, pay off the bills, put the rest in the bank. Next is the amount of friends you will have. Everybody will want to be your friend. There's one problem with this. You will not know which people are truly your friends and which ones are using you for your money. Don't forget about your friends you had before you became famous. More importantly, don't forget your family. You became a self-centered diva that is spoiled and cocky. So are you trying to convince the person? We're still confused here whether we're trying to say yes, you should do it, or no, you shouldn't. There's no clear pro or con here. We're not quite sure which way this student is headed. And more importantly, no, we already read that. I love to travel, but traveling is expensive. This ties back to the money. You can travel anywhere you like. If you have the money, meant to say have, you can travel anywhere you like. When you are famous, you go on people call tours. You travel to different places. You play music or star in movies. Performing on stage is a good form of exercise. While traveling on a tour bus, actors and singers must figure out a way to exercise on a bus. By now, if you are not convinced, you can only wonder what is to be famous. You did not speak from experience, but boy, I would like to. Didn't answer the question here. It wasn't about would you like to be famous. It was you were supposed to convince a friend. Sure, my pen's going to run out. Let me show you the prompt, people. Should have done that first. Duh. Many students have a desire to become famous one day. It's so old. Could you ask to be talented people, not famous? Anyway, convince a friend to understand. No, sorry. Think about your friends and teens in general. Convince a friend to understand how being famous would affect their life. A friend, one person. So even if you started your prompt, Dear Jennifer, that would have been appropriate. Okay, so that paper was a 3 in all areas. It did not fully meet my expectations in any of the areas. There were occasional errors. There is a limited sentence structure. There's a loose point of view. We don't really know who the audience are. Is the person talking about them being famous? Is being famous a good thing or a bad thing? There's not a ton of sophisticated word choice. Organization's not there because there really isn't a thesis statement. And so therefore the ideas are going to be not as strong as well. It was a first try. Now let's take a look at the next paper. And honestly, I tried to pick ones that you could see. And this one's not. Everyone at one time or another wanted to be famous. They wanted to be on television or in a magazine. They want people to know their name and recognize them on the street. But being famous also has many responsibilities too. When you're famous, again the you're, it is important to know how you can affect others. It's a thesis, but it's not a powerful one. It does not take much for someone in the spotlight to affect others, especially children. Since children are not confident in themselves, yet it is easy or them to be influenced by celebrities they see. That's why it is important to be responsible and to act maturely. Where's the story? Where's the deep details? Where's the personal story? I don't feel like this writer is talking to a friend. I feel like they're talking to me, and that's boring. Talk to your friend, not the teacher. Talk to the audience that you were given to talk to. And let's see. Children are not the only ones who are influenced by famous people. Teenagers also try to follow the example set by someone who they admire. By acting immature, it sets an example for young people to follow. Now, we talked about acting immature here, and we talked about mature here. And had there been a thesis with the 3 things that this person thought, 1, 2, 3, of why fame was good or bad, choosing one side or the other, then we naturally wouldn't talk about maturity in 2 of those. We would only talk about maturity in 1, and then we'd flip to a completely different parallel idea for your next paragraph. Becoming a major influence to others is not only a duty a famous person can have. A major issue with becoming famous is the lack of privacy for you, your family, and friends. It is not a secret that celebrities are stalked and hounded for information. So here we have a great paragraph. Got some details, got some elaboration, got some examples. There's no P in here. There's no personal story. This is your friend. Wait till you see what the people who got 6s right and how they address their audience. Moving on. Oh, wait. I forgot. Hounded for information or even a photo. It is important to consider this before you make a decision about becoming famous. And then here's the conclusion. The responsibilities of being a celebrity are not to be taken lightly, but it is important to be aware and understand the challenges that will come. So you are willing to take the knowledge that you will influence young adults and that your life will never be private again. There's great voice in that last sentence, but I know this student, and she has a more convincing way of writing that in a timed situation is not, it's not showing her best work here. This paper was a 4 in all areas. I gave that student, she met all the criteria. Quality writing, little details, no deep details, coherent format. She's got a variety of word choice right on. She's got a point of view. She definitely is specific to an audience, although her audience isn't a very engaging one. It's not one where I want to go, she's really trying to convince me. Uses simple, compound, complex sentences, definitely, and all of her verb choice and grammar was consistent. Now let's look at someone who didn't follow the directions because you weren't allowed to type it, but I'm showing it just because it's so clear and easy to read on the computer. So you want to be famous. All right, I suppose it has crossed everyone's mind more than once in their life. But you're serious. Do you hear the voice? Love it. Okay, so have you considered all the pros and the cons, the roller coaster ride your life will be, and the stress that comes with being famous? No? Well, then let's take a look. Being famous has its obvious advantages. Some include VIP seating wherever you go. Look at the details. Bodyguards, movie or TV show appearances, free items, personal assistance, and dating other famous people, to name a few. That sounds pretty nice, but let's check out the disadvantages. Now, the only thing I don't love about this paper, but I gave her a 5 anyway, or him, was picked both sides. Pros or cons, pros or cons. Like, you got to choose one side and go with it. Otherwise, you're not as convincing, okay? It's like you're wishy-washy. That sounds pretty nice. Let's check out the disadvantages. When you're famous, you will have no privacy, false friends in relationships, stalkers, jealous friends from your past that could tell the media bad things about you. Everyone will be critical of you. Tons of gossip. You could fall into alcohol, drugs, and more. I suspect the cons outweigh the pros. And I agree. But I wish that she chose one side or the other. But I still love the voice. I love everything else. Because of all the disadvantages of being famous, your life could become a very topsy-turvy roller coaster ride. Love it. Sense of voice, sense of word choice, it's coming to life. Once you're famous, you won't want to become old news, so you'll probably always be trying to stay in the loop or change your image so people will stay interested. This could require, and I love this point, this could require changing who you really are in order to stay fashionable more than once. This would then most likely cause unhappiness because few people enjoy having to change for someone else, that is, unless they have multiple personalities. Funny, right? Great sense of voice. All of those changes and all the precautions and awareness you have to have when you're famous. Whoa. Everyone does the your. Even the 5s do the your. When you are famous, can and most likely will cause major stress. And unfortunately, this is where most people turn to alcohol and drugs in order to escape reality. Great point. And still you will keep being pestered and gossiped on. Bad friends and lovers will keep trying to take advantage of you, etc. It is no wonder why most famous people have nervous breakdowns and die young. I do not want this for you. The only thing I would say here is I would give an example. Like, look at, poor little Jennifer Aniston, her whole entire love life is like a parade for all the people to see, right? That's the deep stories. Maybe you could tell a story about your friend. Remember that one time where that rumor went around and it wasn't true about you and how badly it hurt you? What do you think's going to happen when you become famous and things come out that aren't even true? And how's it going to affect you? That's the personal part that's missing here. All in all, and you don't need to say in conclusion or all in all when you're wrapping it up. It's not necessary. You don't need that generic of a transition. A better transition instead of all in all would be, so are you still thinking about being famous? Well, think about this. It's just too much trouble being famous. I may I may just be ruled out as pessimist, but please think carefully over everything I pointed out. And if you still want to be famous, then start acting like you are famous now. Why? Because when you are famous, no one will have any dirt on you and be able to hurt you. What she's saying is just always do things like someone's watching you and you're being judged, I guess, and then you'll be all right. And start now while you're young, because then it'll be a habit. Also, since you're already aware of everything, then you can make smart choices and avoid the pitfalls that come with being famous. So this was a 5. For many reasons, there are some errors and conventions, yes, but overall, the ideas, the quality there is a 5. And let me show you what the 6, I have 2 6s to share, looks like. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Okay, so just, I have to do this one. It's just so apparent what a 6 looks like. Okay. The roar of the crowd, the admiration or sometimes critiques of people everywhere, semicolon. The red carpet, everything has to do with being famous. Who doesn't daydream about fame? Yet being famous means living to millions of expectations. It means having no private life, and it means of having money that would leave anyone bewildered. So there's 3 points and a thesis statement. Boom. Watch what he does next. Primarily, being famous has its responsibilities. Being a celebrity means having a fan base of thousands, maybe millions of people that expect the best from you. One's reputation hangs, look at the verb choice, in the balance with every debut of a new film or music album. Fans can turn into critics. I see that with my kids all the time. They used to love Miley Cyrus. Now they hate Miley Cyrus. Hate's a strong word, but you know, it's so true. Lovely, lovely point here. Can one person live with so much pressure? Everyone makes mistakes, but celebrities tend to pay more for them. Overall, being famous is indeed being on the red carpet, but it also means living up to the expectations of thousands of fans and critics. Not to mention, see how natural the transitions are? Not to mention being an icon in today's world signifies, look at the verb, carrying a burden, not being able to enjoy a peaceful and common personal life. With interviews each week, paparazzi at every corner, and the media following your footsteps. See the word choice, see the words? Being famous means attracting more attention than necessary. Would one be able to enjoy a simple night out with family and friends with cameras following? No. Being famous means giving this kind of ordinary life. Giving in. I don't know what that meant. In general, stars can forget about having a normal life. Popularity affects one's lifestyle, including one's private life. Wonderful different types of sentences. We've got short, little bitty sentences. We've got questions. We've got all kinds of left branch, comma, right branch, all kinds of great sentence structure. And now, another great transition. Moreover, becoming famous means coming into a large sum of money. Surely everyone likes it, but nobody knows what to do with such colossal amounts. Look at the word colossal, right? What a great adjective to describe the noun, amounts. One's life can change with money. Unaffordable becomes affordable. Yet stars, too, get carried away spending, and in the end, we end up in debt, losing their mansions, yachts, and islands. No one person can correctly manage a hefty amount of money without turmoil. Can one person really live with a huge amount of money without any form of mental confusion? And you know what? People who win the lottery, they have whole shows about it, right? Where they couldn't handle it. It's very true. And that's why it's really the smart, famous person who not only can keep that level of income, but knows how to keep it going in different areas. You know, they don't have to stay all in one. In summation, Being famous has its pros and cons. One would come into money, would be the center of attention, and would have to live to high expectations. You would give up your ordinary life for that of a celebrity. Content with cameras at your doorstep, being famous has its high points, yet the type of lifestyle is not for everyone. Fame would affect every single detail of one's life. So this was a 6. I loved it for many reasons. I think that I was graded so many that I was looking for a 6. So, this, when you really look at the rubric, this does completely address the intended audience. The word choice is unbelievable. I feel like I know that student's personality. And then this is the next 6. I wanted you to read 2 6s. And then we're going to call it a night. So, now that you have been given this great opportunity, I would like to congratulate you before anything. Look at the audience here. I remember growing up, we used to dress up, grab our microphones, and sing our favorite songs, pretending we were rich and famous. Hello, deep details. That's the personal story. If you don't know what to say, you can fake it. Fake it. She's faking it right now. She's talking about when they were kids. She doesn't even know who she's writing to. She's making it up. Your lifelong dream has finally come true, and you know what the people around you have never been prouder. But there are a few things I would like you to keep in mind. Although fame and popularity seem like the greatest thing that could happen, it could also affect you negatively. Being famous could affect your life because of the lack of privacy, the toll it could take on your personal relationships, and because of the bad decisions that could come along with it. 3-part thesis, beautiful, equal ideas. This is a 6. Imagine stepping out of your house to quickly pick up the mail, and once you walk inside, it's already headline news. And thousands of people are commenting on every aspect of this simple act. This is probably a bit exaggerated, but it's going to be something you will have to learn to live with. Simply going grocery shopping or hanging out with your friends will not go unnoticed. Relationships will definitely be affected, as there will never be a moment without constant surveillance or commentary. As with any famous individual, all types of rumors and misinterpretations will be plastered along magazines and newspapers. Even a strong person will many times crumble under all of the negative comments or false statements. Look at the verb choice. Even a strong person will many times crumble. Love it. Now we also have the issue of your current friends and family. I know that your intentions are to stay in touch with everybody, but in the world of fame, we also have to face reality. With such a hectic lifestyle and schedule, you won't be able to spend the same amount of time with them. During this time, you will also have the opportunity to meet plenty of new people and make new relationships, despite the fact that you could be losing many of the old ones. The problem with this as well is that you won't know who to trust or who is really your friend. At a time filled with fame and money, many people can easily be interested. Even if you do make real friends during this time, it will still be a completely different environment for you. Being torn from the things you have become accustomed to and not having friends and families at your side can many times even lead you to depression. It would be something completely different from what you are used to, and not having the base of support near you can easily lead to poor decision making, which leads to my next point. Look at the transition. So wonderful. Fame and popularity has many negative connotations going along with, and more often than not, people at fame get to their heads. There are many ways that this could affect you. For example, look at the transitional statement, and I've got to find it. You've got the semicolon, remember this? Transitional word, comma. That is a complex sentence. As soon as you add a complex sentence, you're upping your sentence fluency from a 4 to a 5, or a 5 to a 6, or wherever you've been stuck. Show them you know those rules of good sentence making. And so she's got, there are many ways that this could affect you, semicolon, for example, comma, learning all this, earning all this money can many times lead you to focus less on school and motivate you to no longer further your education. Fame many times also comes with parties, drugs, underage drinking, and sex. Although this is something present in every teen's life, the access is much easier when you have money and many times little parent supervision. These details are so on the money fabulous. This has been seen countless times through stars ranging from Lindsay Lohan to Whitney Houston. Don't you love the details here? So accurate. There could have been many motives to spark this kind of behavior, but a common problem also lies in wanting to be accepted and fit in. Many stars can't handle the pressure of trying to maintain this perfect image, which could not only lead to reckless behavior, but also health problems. Eating disorders are more common in Hollywood, and with the stick-thin figures that are idolized, it is no surprise that eating disorders are so common. Don't you love it? How could you not give this person a 6? Even though this is a once-in-a-lifetime shot you have been given, I want you to make sure that you understand she's talking to her friend in this paper. All the repercussions involved with this fame. Problems ranging from lack of privacy, she's restating her thesis, to lost relationships and bad decisions, are things you will have to learn and deal with and use your better judgment. Fame and money comes with its many perils and upsides, but don't forget to not let it get your head, and to always don't let it go to your head, I think she meant, and to always make the smart decision. We all wish you the best on this newfound path to stardom, and never forget the ways in which fame can affect you forever. Signed, A Friend. And that, my dearies, is what a 6 looks like. I thank you for coming. How long was that? We're at 27 minutes. Let's call it a night. Goodbye.